Seerah Stories presents A Life Worth Knowing, the world's first AI-narrated animated cartoon, Seerah. Episode 7, The Marriage That Shaped a Legacy. As Muhammad grew into early adulthood, the city of Makkah became his living classroom. Its crowded streets, busy markets, and endless caravans taught him many things: how to listen more than he spoke, how to weigh actions carefully, and how to understand people without judging them. Even before the age of 20, Muhammad was widely known among the Quraysh as Al-Amin, the trustworthy. Merchants entrusted him with their wealth, families with their valuables, and neighbors with their secrets. He never deceived in trade, never exaggerated for gain, and never broke a promise. People felt at ease in his presence, sensing that fairness guided his actions more than profit or pride. Khadijah, a woman approaching 40 years of age and a widowed woman, was a successful female merchant in Makkah who financed large trade caravans to various parts of Arabia. Instead of traveling herself, she employed men to conduct trade on her behalf and split the profits with them. However, she became accustomed to men who would lie and steal from her and hope for change with the next trade opportunity. Hearing about Muhammad's strong reputation for honesty, she hired him to lead her caravan to Syria alongside her own trusted servant, Maysarah. As the caravan crossed the open desert, the sun burned relentlessly overhead, pressing down on men and animals alike. As Muhammad traveled north on a trade caravan, the markets of Syria would slowly come into view beyond the dusty road. Muhammad entered markets unlike any he had seen before. The marketplace was surrounded by sturdy stone buildings with high archways and shaded courtyards. The scent of frankincense, leather, and fresh bread drifted through the air, blending with the noise and color of a marketplace alive with trade from distant lands. Amid the noise and movement, shadowing the marketplace of Syria, set behind the famous white stone amphitheater, which drew crowds from far and wide, Muhammad conducted his trade with clarity, speaking truthfully and earning the respect of merchants due to his honesty. When the caravan returned to Makkah, it did so with remarkable success. The goods sold quickly, the journey was free of conflict, and the profits exceeded all expectations. Maysarah went to Khadijah and spoke about Muhammad's honesty in every transaction, his calm leadership, and the respect he commanded in foreign markets. Khadijah listened carefully, recognizing that this success was not accidental. It was the result of a union of skill and integrity. The profits reflected his business excellence, but it was his character that left the deepest impression: truthfulness and integrity in all of his dealings. The words of Maysarah stayed with Khadijah long after the caravan had returned. She reflected not only on the exceptional profit Muhammad had brought her, but on the way it was earned. Quietly, admiration grew in her heart for him. Khadijah confided these feelings to her close friend Nafisah as they sat on scattered pillows in her home. She spoke openly of Muhammad's character, his truthfulness, and the peace she felt when thinking of him. Khadijah wondered aloud whether such a man would ever consider marriage, and whether she herself might be worthy of his companionship. Nafisah offered to speak to Muhammad on her behalf. When Nafisah approached Muhammad, who was now 25 years old, in the house of Abu Talib, she did so gently, asking him what prevented him from marrying. He spoke honestly whilst lowering his gaze, of his circumstances of being an orphan and not having strong financial backing. Nafisah then asked him if he would consider marrying Khadijah. Muhammad paused, not out of hesitation, but reflection. Muhammad agreed to marry Khadijah, not for her financial status or wealth, but for her character and wisdom. Their marriage was unique for the time, as she had proposed to him, and she was known to be a widow. Despite this, Nafisah went back to Khadijah with the happy news of Muhammad's acceptance, becoming his best friend, and Muhammad was a devoted and loving husband. This love and support would become vital in the years ahead of them, as their home became a place of warmth, generosity, and peace, far removed from the noise and rivalries of Makkah. Over the next several years, they were blessed with 6 children, 2 boys and 4 girls, and family life strengthened Muhammad further, grounding his compassion and deepening his sense of responsibility. Despite never having known his own father, who had passed away before his birth, Muhammad was a natural and deeply loving parent. He showed gentleness, presence, and care toward all his children, understanding their needs and emotions. Among those who lived in their household was Zayd, a young servant boy gifted to Khadijah before her marriage, and who she in turn gifted to Muhammad. Muhammad treated Zayd not as a servant, but as family and one of his own loving children. When the opportunity came for Zayd to reunite with his family and regain his freedom, Muhammad placed no obstacle in his way. Zayd was freed without condition by Muhammad, yet when given the choice, Zayd chose to remain, declaring that he preferred life with Muhammad over returning to his family due to the care and love he had shown. From that day on, Muhammad declared Zayd to be his adopted son. Now fully a man, Muhammad stood among the people of Makkah with growing esteem. He was no longer only known as Al-Amin for his honesty and trade, but also as a pillar of stability and wisdom. People sought his counsel, trusted his judgment, and respected his fairness. The orphan child, shepherd, and merchant had become a husband, father, and respected member of society. Yet unseen to those around him, these years of quiet development were preparing him for a calling that would alter the course of every life it touched. Like, share, and subscribe. Episode 8 coming soon.